Okay, Viking Roglan is back again from Mindanao, Philippines, and I have my tobacco here. It's a mixture of Danish tobacco and Filipino tobacco. So anyway, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. That is why I put on this one. So I just came back from the village in Lapuan where we where we have our little dollhouse. My wife bought a 60 square meter land in the main street in that small village. She bought it back in 2011. And she was able to put on that land a very simple wooden house. So this pipe will just disturb my talk as of now because it will not light properly. So anyway, Lapuan is a small village in Don Marcelino. Don Marcelino is way down south in the Philippines, in Davao Occidental. And even though I consider myself a multicultural, very understanding person, I still have my own issues about the Philippines and the privacy. Because when I am in my small little cute house, because we built a small concrete house, approximately 10 square meters, with concrete walls, with nice tiles on the floor. And now we are making a luxury bathroom. I will keep you updated when that is coming to completion, God willing. And what happens there is that some kids, they will come to the door and stare at me while I'm trying to have some privacy and relax inside my own house. And I told my wife, why do these kids always come and staring at me? That is quite rude. She said, no, it's not rude. Here in the Philippines, it's quite normal, and people would be happy to have the attention of the children. So I should probably be happy. So me being most of my life living in Norway, we really appreciate privacy, okay? To the extent that we are lonely. And in the village, in Lapuan, there is really not much privacy, right? You can hear when the neighbors are quarreling. You can hear when the kids are screaming and roaming around. I have a tricycle that I brought down there last time now because we transported some tiles and a toilet, a really nice big toilet bowl that is gonna be, probably it is already installed now in the new toilet room. But I was going into some thoughts by myself about the differences in the Norwegian society and the Filipino society. And what amazes me is because we have two houses on that property, okay? We have the small wooden house with bamboo walls and with a very small toilet that is clogged as of now. We don't know why it's clogged. Maybe the very small septic tank is already full. So that's why I built a very big septic tank. I think it's a very long time ago. Because of the lockdowns, things are getting postponed, you know. But we have a big septic tank there, and we are putting our own new bathroom there, but very delayed because of these lockdowns. So anyway, we were lucky to travel there. We are only allowed to be for 72 hours. Then we don't need any how can I say, isolation and stuff like that. But if you stay more than 72 hours, you have a problem. So when we enter into Don Marcelino, I have to leave my IDs, I have to leave my QR card there. And they will note the time when I come in there. And they will see to it when I return that I have not spent more than 72 hours. So of course I didn't, because I don't want to be locked down in isolation in the school building there. But what I want to say is I want to talk about cultural differences between the Western world and the Filipino world. You know, my wife, we are not legally married, but we are in fact husband and wife, and we have a boy. He's 3 years old, and Jalin, she has a daughter that will soon turn 8. So that is not my daughter, because I met Jalin first time in 2016. But when I'm sitting there and observing, and I basically stay either in my little dollhouse, 10 square meter, cute house, and these kids are coming, staring, and they love to talk to me, and the teenagers, the 12 years, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old boys, they are amazed when they see me smoking the pipe. So I entertain them, and I smoke the pipe, and we are discussing about motorcycles and stuff like that. Now their English is very limited, of course, but some of them, they know a little bit, and I know a little bit of Cebuano. So we will manage to have a great time there. And what I observed is that in that oldest building, which my wife built some years ago, and which is still standing, well, I helped her to put a decent roof there, but that is amazing that she, as a Filipina, she was a maid in Manila, and she was able to buy that land for 10,000 pesos 10 years ago, and to put a house there. And then my parents-in-law are very old. I think they both are like 80 years old. That's what I think they are. And they are very strong. They are stronger than me in many ways, you know. I had some problems. I still have problems now with my feet. I can almost not walk. I have infections always around my feet, my ankles. That is fungal problem. But and so I have to take painkillers now to just be able to get out of bed. I have crutches, which I use at least for the first couple of minutes until my feet can, or my ankles can handle the pain. But I'm talking now about cultural clashes and differences. And so her extended family is there in the village, right? And almost everybody is related. They have expressions like first degree cousin, second degree cousin, third degree cousins, and so forth. In Norway we have similar expressions, but it's mainly out of the language, and I don't even know what it means. And I certainly don't have any contact with third degrees cousins in Norway. I barely have some contact with my first degree cousins. And so in Norway, what is the normal standard is you have a big house if you have children, and each child they have their own bedroom. But in Labuan in the Philippines, I see my mother-in-law, who is, like I said, I think she's, and my father-in-law, they are approximately around 80 years old. And they have their land up in the mountains, and I was not allowed to go there because they say it's too strenuous for you to climb up there. You cannot even bring a horse or a buffalo up there, only 2 feet. So I believe them, and then they said you have the NPA, New People's Army, the communist guerrilla groups that actually kidnapped people in that village for ransom before. Now my father-in-law, he is a friend with them. Of course, he must be a friend with them because he lives up in the mountain. And when they're coming, he will give them some coffee, he will give them some rice, and they are talking and so forth. But so that is one thing. Why he understands them, because he knows them. And but I'm not going to talk about NPA so much in this video. I'm going to talk about the family values and the family bonds, which is very amazing. Now in Norway, we are 4 siblings. So I have one sister, she's the youngest, and I have 2 brothers. So we are 3 boys and 1 girl. And I am the most unfortunate of them because I don't have anything but my 10 square feet house in Labuan. That is what I own, that is made for my money. So I'm the owner of that one, but not legally, because a foreigner cannot own land in the Philippines, right? But what amazes me is that when we come there, of course, we have some food. I buy some rice, I buy some viand, some chicken or pork or whatever, and the family will be there with their kids. So it's like a kindergarten inside that house. And my mother-in-law is amazing. She's always playing and taking care of those kids. Even the mother maybe is only 16, 17 year old, and she's mad with them because why didn't you fulfill your studies? Why do you get pregnant? You know, she's mad with them, but still she helps them out. And what will happen is, in that small house there is 1 bamboo bed, and then I have a plastic chair, and there is an old very simple kitchen where everything is cooked on the fire, so that kitchen is very dirty. Now we are planning to upgrade that old house substantially in the future. But I was thinking to myself, why don't I like that the kids are staring at me in my room? I don't have anything to hide, do I? And then I am just so amazed how they are talking, and of course they are talking the tribal language, Blaan. And they are really family. You know, everybody, when we come visiting there, it's the uncles, the aunts, the nephews, the nieces, all of them, they will come and say hi, and many of them, they will stay and they will enjoy food with us. And I think maybe I am paying for some of that food, but I don't feel it. They don't charge me anything. They don't say, oh, give us money. No, they never did. Because actually my father-in-law, he has a big land. My mother-in-law, she has a big land. So my mother-in-law, she's growing her own rice. She has her own coconut trees. My father-in-law, he has planted a lot of coconut trees that will bring forth coconuts very soon. And but what amazes me is how this village is what how can I say, it's a place they got electricity maybe 7, 8 years, 9 years ago, and a decent road maybe 10, 15 years ago. So you were able actually to go there with a car. Even sometimes some landslides will make it almost impossible. I had a long conversation with a former chief of the area, and he told me he was there since 1980. He was only 18 years old, and he was made a barangay captain during the reign of Marcos, and he told me a lot of interesting stuff that I cannot share here on YouTube. But what I realize is the power of family and family bonds. And these people, they are making a lot of babies, right? It's like I told the mothers, I said, where is your husband? Ah, he's working there, he's working there, he's working there. I said, okay, so he's working there, sending you money? Yes. And when he comes back, he's making another baby, right? And when I compare to Norway, most women, they have full-time jobs, even if they are grandmothers. So they are very limited in their possibility to help take care of the kids, right? So in Norway, you will send your kids to kindergarten and so forth. Another thing is, if I need money, I'm very ashamed to ask for money from Norway, but I really had to do it when I was hospitalized, almost dying in January this year, 2021. And of course, I don't have PhilHealth because I'm not a Filipino citizen. I'm not legally married. So, and even if I had PhilHealth, it would cost me 22,000 pesos per year. And after the hospitalization, I would get maybe 30% covered of the expenses, but I had to wait for 6 months. So anyway, what is going on there is the traditional lifestyle. Sometimes they will slaughter some animal. Before they would maybe slaughter a pig, but now all the pigs are gone. They kill them because of the African swine fever. I was actually there in February 2020 when this happened, so it was terrible. They killed all the pigs there, and they used like hammers and axes. They just chopped the pigs in the head, and the pigs were screaming, and the owners were so devastated because the sister of my wife and her husband, they have been very successful in breeding very nice pigs, and one of their biggest, best producing pig mothers, she was about to give birth, and they just came and they slaughtered her. I mean, they killed her in front of the owner, and he saw everything. He was totally devastated. Now money is important everywhere in the world, of course, but the great thing about Lapuan and places like that is most people, they own their own land. They own their own house. They don't pay any rent, okay? And then children are not seen as a curse. Children are seen as a blessing. And I am a very good friend with a younger niece of my wife. First time I met her, she was 14. And she speaks very good English, she's very clever. But still, now she's 18 and she already has 2 children. So you can imagine, you have 2 children. and they are always demanding milk and attention. It's very hard for her to continue her studies, but that is the wish of the family, that because she's very clever, she's like the top grade student in her class there. So what I want to say is that you have little privacy, but you have a lot of fellowship, a lot of community. And even if I don't understand everything, they don't translate to me. It's Blaan, it's a tribal language, you know. I just call it blah 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 because well, I understand some of it, but very little. And I don't even want to learn it because I speak English, and I try to learn some Cebuano, but not necessarily Blaan, which is one of the original tribes here in the Philippines. So anyway, if you know about the Philippines, you know that it's been dominating by the Catholic Church since the Spaniards came here in 1520, 1550, and so forth. But here in Mindanao, you also have Muslim groups. Actually, the Muslims came only 10 years before to the Philippines than the Spaniards, so they already managed to put up some Muslim communities here in Mindanao. And I'm very interested in that story. I was trying to get down to Sultan Kudarat, but the weather was terrible. I was driving in a motorcycle with this jacket, and this is very tiny polyester, whatever it is, and I forgot to bring my raincoat. So I got a garbage bag, which I actually made a hole in the top and for my arms, and I was driving down there, but I had to return. Also, I forgot to bring my phone because I'm an impulsive guy, so I had no plans of going down there until I suddenly realized I'm gonna go for a joyride, yeah, like a joyride of 160 kilometers. And the only friend I made in that area in Sultan Kudarat was a small puppy, because I avoided the people there. I just found a shelter because I was totally soaked with rain, and I was sitting there, and my phone was low bat. I didn't even know where I was. There was no road signs, there was no